Get your calls in this hour. We're going to have open lines. Next hour, our special tribute to the late Aaron Russo, past Coast to Coast guest, who passed away very recently of cancer at the age of 64. So we've got open lines for you this hour. Look, I just was looking at my atomic clock a few hours ago when it hit midnight, and the date switched from August 31st to September 1st. And, you know, August 31st feels so summer-like. But, man, the minute you see September pop up there on a clock, then you know this year is almost gone. I got to tell you, time is just going too fast. I don't know if it's age or what, but I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it is like a snowball rolling down a hill, and it can't be stopped. And it's getting faster and faster and faster. It really is something else. I'll be back in a moment. Open lines on Coast to Coast AM. Hey, thanks for spending your Labor Day weekend with us, by the way. I know you've got a lot of things going on this weekend and with friends, family, or maybe you're just going to sit home and chill. But always appreciate the fact that you are faithful listeners to this program, continuing to make Coast to Coast the highest-rated program in the country at late night. And in terms of just share of the audience, a percent that's available, it may very well be the highest share-rated program in the country with everything that's on radio all the time. And you make that happen. So I appreciate it, and thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this fall. Lots of innovative things coming up on the program. Special guests as we take this right into, I guess, Christmas time. It's amazing how fast it's going. Art will be on Ghost to Ghost for those of you who want to know what we're going to do on that Halloween night. That will be his first return since his official retirement. And, we'll do about 15 shows a year for us in the foreseeable future. And he'll also do the predictions program on New Year's Eve. But Ghost to Ghost on October 31st, Halloween night, will be Art's return for us for that night. So just circle the calendar. That's a tradition here at Coast to Coast, and he will be doing it for you. So let's go to the phones. We've got open lines this hour. And again, as I mentioned, Aaron Russo, a great guest here on Coast to Coast. I got to tell you, I received many emails about him before we put him on the program, and more after he was on. And he was battling cancer, and a tough guy, but he lost the battle recently, 64 years old. And you'll hear a portion of our tribute next hour when we put that together for you. Let's go to the phones. First-time caller line, welcome to the show. You're on the air. Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Chagrin Falls, Geauga County, Ohio.
Well, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Why, thank you. I just had a question for everybody that's listening out there, if everybody's awake. The night before the lunar eclipse, we had a lot of activity in our house, and I was wondering if anybody else had any activity going on in their house.
Now, what do you mean by activity?
Me and my son in separate rooms, but we have one adjoining wall between us, and it looked like we saw fairies.
Fairies?
Yes.
The little twinkly kind that we see, the Peter Pan type?
Well, they're like little orbs, like oval orbs floating in the air, different colors, very bright. And I just saw them. They came in the window, and then they went back outside really quick. And then he saw them, but he said he heard like little voices in his ear. And, of course, he was trying to go to sleep. He's in high school. He'd be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they kept waking him up. It sounded like little squeaky bed springs in his ear because their voices are real high-pitched, and they kept waking him up all night.
Did you hear the voices, too?
I didn't hear the voices, but I saw them. And I was just wondering if anybody else out there witnessed anything that we witnessed.
And this was only during that lunar eclipse moment, right?
Yes, it was right before the lunar eclipse. It started around 3 o'clock a.m., and the lunar eclipse was at 5:51 a.m.
And in your home, never before, never after since, huh?
Not really. We do have some ghostly things going on, but nothing with fairies.
That is strange. Okay, we'll see if anybody has had that happen to them.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, and again, we appreciate you being part of the program. East of the Rockies, you're on Coast to Coast. Hello there.
Hi, George. This is Shane.
Hey, Shane. Where are you calling from?
Southern Ohio.
Okay, sir. Go ahead.
I just had a possibility about the Hills car, the markings on it.
Yeah.
I've detailed cars for nearly 20 years, and in the past say 10 years, as everyone's putting those magnetic ribbon stickers on their car, like support the troops and stuff.
Yeah.
People will come in and complain that it leaves a mark on their car. And I've had several body shop guys tell me that it's the magnet drawing the metallic flakes in the paint into the magnetism. And I was just thinking back then it was lacquer paint. And I just wondered if maybe the magnetism was so intense that it pulled the metallic in the paint, if it was metallic, into circles, and there it would have made it, shinier.
Good point. And if those beams, if those magnetic pulse beams that might have been originating from this craft, if it was coming down like in tubes almost,
right,
it might have done something like that.
Yeah, because I've had several people, say, can you get these off? And you can't buff them off. You can't get rid of them. It just literally pulls the metallic into the shape of the ribbon. And I thought, well, hey, maybe that's the magnetism beams or whatever caused, they were so intense that it pulled the metallic, if it was metallic paint, into it. It was just a thought.
Well, listen to this part of the theory. What if those magnetic beams coming from the craft were used to pull the entire vehicle up to them?
Exactly. So it would be such an intense magnetic pull that, it would, if it would have been metallic paint, it's possible, based on how these ribbons do to cars, that it would have just made this instantly pulled made the circles with them metallic. And it would have been shinier in those spots because, the light would have reflected off the metallic in the paint more.
Isn't it strange that just in a few hours we might have unraveled how the ETs beam people aboard and everything else?
Yeah, it was just a thought. It just instantly came to my mind from where I've cleaned so many cars, and I've never had this problem with cars until people started putting these ribbons on their cars.
That's a good point. Hey, thanks for telling us that.
Okay, thank you.
I see. People are experts at things, and that was very helpful. Wildcard line, it's your turn on Coast to Coast. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hello?
Hello?
Could I say about this woman who was abducted, Betty Hill?
Yeah.
I was very impressed by how calm she was at the second part after they were examining her teeth, and then she was laughing about her husband's teeth. And then she was calm and chatting with them and everything, And then the fact that she knew that she was going to be let go, and her biggest worry was to have something to show people to prove that she had this experience. And then she looked around and she said, "Oh, can I take that book?" And then they eventually said, "No, you can't take the book." And then she started crying. But isn't that amazing that she knew that they weren't going to take her away somewhere, and that she wanted to have a souvenir? That was her biggest worry, to have a souvenir to take to say,
yep.
"I was abducted. Here's my proof."
Here it is. We've got it. Yep.
Go
I
get
guess
your aluminum foil and put it on your head.
Yep. And now we've just got a believer based on just the story of the hypnosis. And you know what? I do believe, there's no doubt in my mind, that something happened to them, and it was dramatic. Was it an extraterrestrial abduction? Maybe, and that's a very good possibility. But there's no doubt, I'm 100% convinced that something extraordinary happened to those people back in 1961. Let's go back to the phones. Wildcard line, you're up with us on Coast to Coast. Hi there.
Hi, George.
Yes, sir.
This is John from down here in South Texas.
Hey, John.
Listen, on this Barney and Betty Hill.
Yeah.
We're talking about the lady that was just on was talking about how calm she was under the hypnosis and everything. And that just seems to be even more proof to me that, that she's telling the truth on this. And it's very strange because it seems to tie into something that I've experienced going down the road. I'm a truck driver, and there's been 3 occasions where I have been in some back areas, what we call the sticks, and I've seen at night a black stagecoach being pulled by black horses.
What do you mean a black stagecoach being pulled by black horses? I mean, like pulling alongside of you or what?
No, it pulls across in front of me. And every time that this has happened, within a mile, usually around a curve, I've come into a tragic accident.
That's now. When you see
And
this,
it seems to be a warning to me to slow down and be ready to stop.
I was going to say, when you see the stagecoach and if it goes in front of you, do you slam on your brakes or do you just keep driving through it?
I just keep driving, but I start slowing down. I don't try to slam on the brakes or anything like that.
You know then that it's not.
Three occasions it's happened.
You know it's not physical, right?
It looks physical, but it's not.
See,
it's very strange.
I don't understand why you don't stop or slow down when you see it. You know,
well, I start to slow down now when I see it because I realize that something's coming up.
And every time this has happened.
The first time, when I saw it, I think I reacted, a little differently than the second and third. I think the first time I probably went for the brakes a little harder. But after that, I said it's just kind of like a warning to me that there's something in the road ahead that I need to get out of it and slow down.
And these episodes, different places?
Different places.
How strange. I wonder if it's one of those old hearses drawn by horses.
No, it looks like a regular stagecoach.
That's weird.
I guess my guardian angel had a thing for stagecoaches.
I think so. Thanks for the call. Let's move next to our first-time caller line. You're up with us. Hello there.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Linda.
Hi, Linda.
And I'm from Michigan. And I believe I was abducted at about age 3, and I do drawings of these beings. And it's really interesting to listen to your program and hear other people talk about it. And I've tried to call in before and just couldn't. But
have you ever gotten any help or have you ever been put under hypnosis for this?
Yes. Once.
You have? Okay, what
time.
happened? Tell me what happened, Linda.
It was with a local guy who did hypnosis, and he took me back to the time when I was abducted, and it didn't go too much further than what I had remembered before. But when I get into the spacecraft, I don't remember anything else except that it was very clean.
And it only happened once when you were little?
I'm not really sure, but that's the one time that I remember. Because,
you remember. It might be ongoing.
Well, there was another time when I was at my grandmother's house, and I have 4 brothers and sisters, or 4 sisters and 1 brother, and I'm the middle child, kind of, and we were out in the field playing, and I ended up with a scar on my toe that later on I met somebody else who had the exact same scar on their toe.
Have you ever been x-rayed on your toe? Maybe you have some kind of implant there.
I know, that's what I thought, too.
Yeah,
no, I've never done all that, but I've had 2, I study with the Indians, and I've had Rainbow Eagle tell me that I'm not supposed to display my stuff because I will be killed. But that doesn't bother me. I mean, I'd really like to, have people look at it. Right now I'm sitting in my bedroom, and I have several of these drawings all over the room.
What do they look like?
They're different. The Indians named me Niwinanagook, Nimakwe. They say it's 4 stars, dancing woman, and I'm an ambassador to 4 stars.
What kind of describe these extraterrestrials for us, though?
Some of them look human. Some have hair that's like feathers. Most of them have pointed heads. A lot of them are like warriors. A lot of them have, right where the third eye would be, like a light or, something in the center of their forehead. There.
Like one of those miner hats where they have that light there?
No, it's not. Well, some of them have hats, but yeah, but it's really different.
And what about the craft?
The craft was, the being was standing beside me, and he was kind of red, but he was taller than me, but I was 3, and he had long fingers, 3 long fingers, and he had reddish skin. And he put out his hand as if to take mine, and I was afraid, but he would make me feel fine. He'd just calm me. And we flew, like, with our feet up, we flew over to the craft, and in that time I would get scared, and then he would calm me but he would never talk. And then we went inside. And
at what point did you remember this? Under hypnosis, or did you remember this when you were a kid?
Well, what's happened since then is that when I was a little girl, I started drawing. And not these beings, but just, I figured Spirit just was trying to teach me to draw.
Right.
And I would sign my name XOL. Now, when I had my son, I started drawing. 9 months after I had my son, I started drawing these beings. And I started signing my name shortly after that, XOL, on all these pictures that I did. And I'm 57 now.
Did your parents ever say anything about you being different or anything like that?
I'm just the odd one of the family. I've done astral projection since I was a very little girl, too.
And what about your child? Look totally human?
Does he look totally human?
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Okay. I mean, you know, some of these hybrids they talk about, their heads are a little bigger, their eyes are a little bigger, but he looks totally human.
Yes, but he talks about, he calls and asks, he's 26 now, and he tells me that he knows, things that what's going to happen before it happens and stuff like that. But
yeah, he's got that intuition, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know he does, yeah. And my grandson.
Do you have a scanner? Do you have a computer?
No, I don't. That's why I can't get through to you. I was trying to get your address to.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm going to put you on hold. Gina will give you the address. Send it to Tom if you would, because I'm in St. Louis for several weeks, and he'll get it, okay? And then he can scan it. We'll get it up to Sean or Lex, and we'll probably put it up on the coasttocoastam.com website. So why don't you do that? Let's go to our next caller, Wildcard Line. You're up on Coast to Coast. Hello there.
Good morning, George.
Hi, sir.
It's a pleasure to talk to you. This is Vance, and I'm calling from beautiful downtown Katrinaville, Mississippi.
Hello, Vance.
Still a lovely, lovely place. And I'd like to talk about a couple of things, one of which it was on my mind, and you had just mentioned, was the allocation of time. The veil between the dimensions is growing very, very thin, and everyone, even the children, are noticing it. And when you and I were growing up, I believe we're the same age.
I'm 57.
Yes. Be 57 this month.
Okay.
And time just took forever and gradually increased as a snowball. And the kids these days, they have no concept of that. No concept whatsoever. It's just flying by for them, too. And in the book of Jasher, you'll find the allocation of time.
Hey, I'm going to put you on hold, and I'll come right back to you after this break, so don't hang up. We're going to go to Vance here in just a second, but it's also time to say hello to all of you listening on your favorite radio stations across North America. Streamlink members, thank you for what you do. XM satellite members as well. And then the various forums and chat rooms all around the country. The NighthawkZone.com folks, hello there. AboveTopSecret.com. Imaginative Worlds, the Fantastic Forum Pirates, Into Infinity, Frog Forum, Pal Talk, Sorcery IRC, National Radio Club, the groups on MySpace now, Yahoo chat rooms, all of you, thank you so much. Let's go back to Vance, and we'll get the rest of the story. Hey, Vance, thanks for holding.
You're very welcome, George. It's great to get through. It's hard to get through to you.
That's why I could not hang up on you at the break. We had to have you back.
Thanks, man. You just mentioned time, and I was just thinking about how fast time is going by. And as I was saying before, the kids these days have no idea what you're talking about. It's going flying for them, too. And you know as well as I, when we were young, time just took forever.
Yeah, I know it. Except where did it go? When I was 10, the thought of me being 57 never entered my mind.
I'm an old hippie. We weren't supposed to live this long.
Man, it is. It on one hand, it's kind of scary that it's going so fast because my mortality is starting to kick in now. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I remember real easy 10 years ago. I remember when I was 47. That wasn't long at all. So now I'm saying to myself, my God, in that short time span, I'm going to be 67. And then it really gets to be kind of, well, it's time to check out time almost. You know, you're getting close. It's
time to think about immortality, perhaps.
That's not a bad way to think about it. Yeah.
The longest time I have spent was going through Hurricane Katrina in a truck.
What do you mean?
Alone?
Right through the middle of the thing?
The damn thing broke down on the way out of town.
Oh, my God.
And I had to face this. I had to face it alone. And it was wild, but time took a whole lifetime.
Did you think it was curtain times for you then?
No, I never thought it was. Never once.
Hey, Vance, thanks. Now we take the break, and we'll come back and wrap up with final phone calls before our Aaron Russo tribute. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to Coast to Coast. Let's go right back to the calls. First-time caller line. Hi there. You're up.
Yes, I had a bit of historical insight for you if you're interested.
Yes, sir.
About a week ago, I guess it was about a week ago, you made an observation. You wondered how it was. I think you were wondering how people living in Germany, Nazi Germany, could not know what was going on around them.
Right.
Years ago, and we won't go into how many years ago, I was taking German, and the person teaching the course was from Germany. She had been 13 when the war had ended, and felt absolutely no guilt about what had happened because of that. And we could ask her anything about what it was like inside of Nazi Germany and get a straight answer. One of her favorite answers, incidentally, was, well, it wasn't like Hogan's Heroes. But somebody once put that same question to her, how is it the locals who lived, say, in the region of a concentration camp, how could they not know? And her answer was, actually, there's something to that. Said, there were certain days you did not go down to the rail station. Nobody knew why. You just knew you didn't go down there. So
they were told not to, or they just knew?
Everybody knew there were certain days you just did not go down to the rail station. Nobody knew why. You just knew you didn't do it. She said, looking back now, it's obvious that's when they were loading Jews onto boxcars.
Jeez.
But when you live in under a regime that is that repressive, you go blind just to stay alive.
Sadly, you're absolutely right.
So, and this was somebody who was living there, so I took her word for it.
And you know what? That's a lesson for all of us.
Yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on, yes, definitely.
All right, thank you, sir. Next up, it's our wild card line. You're on Coast to Coast. Hi there.
Hey, how you doing? This is Adam. I'm down here in Houston.
Hey, Adam.
Quick side note, I lived up in Sulphur, Oklahoma, and I got you on like 10, 12 different stations from all over the country, but never really clear enough to hear. But anyway, what I'm calling about is very important. I think it's about the Jerome Corsi episode you had the other night.
Yeah, now this was the one where he was talking about the United Nations and their need to move in troops in the event of a health emergency. Yeah.
The biggest thing I'm calling about is the trucks.
The trucking, okay.
The border tomorrow. Is that correct?
They begin. They begin.
Have you heard anything about Teamsters going out there and possibly doing a blockade of Mexico?
I heard that
Teamsters are actually doing. I can't find any news on it anywhere.
I hear that James Hoffa is not happy about this situation, and it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me to see the Teamsters do some kind of truck blockade. I mean,
well, this is a note to them. If they haven't thought of it yet, they still got a few hours. Come on, let's get on down there.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a huge story. Yep, huge story.
I'm definitely ready to fight for America, and I thank you for your show and your information. And man, y'all are just killer. I love y'all to death.
Okay, you be safe down there. Yep, it's starting where the Mexican trucks, basically unchecked, are going to be allowed to just start rolling through as they've sanctioned some companies now in Mexico to just come through, which we believe is the beginning of the push for this North American alliance, which one day then could very well be the beginning to a one world government. One day when we have time, we don't have it tonight, we should do a whole program on this push for a one world government. And I'd like to get your views on the pluses and minuses of that. I like the autonomy of the United States. But when you think very futuristically, I guess, is there a word like that? Well, there is now. And you think of all the problems that this planet will face, earth changes, food problems, water shortages. Is it a bad idea to have this one world government that kind of controls the whole thing? Yes and no. The yes is maybe things will get organized a little bit better. The no is the people at the top will be very greedy and very selfish. And I guess that's the main reason why I will always be opposed to that. Let's go next to our east of the Rockies line, where it's probably 3:45 in the morning, wherever you may be. Hi there.
Hey, George.
Hi.
Hey, my name's Kirk. I'm across the state from you in Kansas City.
Oh, well, it's only 2:45 in the morning for you.
Yeah, it's 2:45. Yeah. 2:42 I got. But anyways, I grew up in Birmingham, Michigan.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you know where Livonia is.
I sure do.
Okay, when I was about 6 years old, I was at my grandmother's house in Livonia off of like Middle Belt Road, and this empty field at the end of her block, and all of a sudden I look up and there's a saucer there. And it looked like two plates, with the centers pushed together.
What year might that have been, if you can remember that?
Probably 64, 60, maybe 63.
Right around that time period, the Detroit News had a photograph of a saucer that they put on the front page. I'm wondering if this is the same thing.
Yeah, really. And then what happened is later on, in life, a couple years later, I was checking my leg out, and the little pin that goes for like a watch band?
Yeah.
There's just like that, just right under the skin. Like I can push it, and it pokes out the other side, under the skin out the other side. And a couple of years ago, I was getting my pancreas. They put the jelly on you. What's that called? Sonogram or something?
Oh, that gookie stuff, so they can put the little electrodes on you.
Well, no. So they rub a thing, like what they use, ultrasound. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and they put that cold stuff on you.
Yeah, right. That gooey crap.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
So when they were done doing that, the technician asked me, "Is there anything else you want me to look at?" So I said, "Yeah, check this thing out in my leg." And it came back as foreign object.
Is it still in you?
Yeah, it's in me right now. I'm touching it right now.
We got to get that thing out of you and get it checked out and analyzed.
Well, yeah, see, I've been kind of wanting to do it like you said. I didn't want to, have just a regular doctor do it,
I mean, you're a Roger Lear case. We've got to be able to. Can I put you on hold when we're done and get your phone number?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and then Gina, make sure we get his number to Roger Lear, who just won the Maverick Award last week for his service. I'd love him to talk to you, and he may know some doctors.
I haven't had like a doctor around here do it because it's probably something. I think it's an implant. I think.
Well, if he doesn't do it, he may know doctors in the Kansas area that may do it for you.
Right. So when so we can find out what it is and stuff.
Yeah. Do you have any recollection of this thing going in you?
I saw this saucer, okay?
Yeah.
And the next thing I know that I can remember now, I was back at my grandma's house. Now, I did, my cousin was with me, but he's like the head anesthesiologist at KU Med Center.
Yeah.
And he won't admit it,
Oh, no, he doesn't want to do that. Okay, I'm putting you on hold. Gina, get his number. Let's get it to Roger Lear, if you would, please. And let's try to figure out what is in your leg. Let's go to our next wild card line. You're up with us. Hello there.
Hello. Good morning, Brother Georgios. This
Hi,
is Mark
sir.
from Albuquerque calling.
Hey, Mark. How are you?
I am wonderful. You're having a very busy evening this evening.
It is
very
rolling
many
along.
people that you're connecting and taking numbers from.
Yeah, that's true.
I told the screener that I wanted to speak about the ferries, but it's all connected. And you know it's all connected. You feel it inside you. It's this time thing. It's not only time. It's ourselves. Our actual beings, every molecule is starting to vibrate at a higher frequency. We are in, if you listen to this word from your heart, you'll know it's true. We are beginning the apocalypse. It is not the end of the world. It is the transition to a new, higher vibration.
It's the beginning of the end, not the end of the beginning.
There is no end. There is no end. We're all loved unconditionally.
Maybe, Mark, though, it's a clock ticking to 2012.
But look at it as a clock to a joyous rebirth instead of the end.
God, I hope you're right.
Oh, listen to your heart. Everyone that can hear me, listen to your heart.
Yeah, but not everybody agrees with that. There are some people, Mark, if you and I went down the street right now, I bet we'd find 50% of the people who think the end of the world is near.
Yes, and they live in fear.
Yes.
They live in fear of terrorists. They live in fear of the flu.
They live in negativity.
By the way, that is just, it doesn't really matter, but that is the keystone, the final keystone in the Bush regime plan. That's all they need. You know what it says. You had Jerome Corsi on the other night. Okay, that is the final keystone. Now all you need is a declaration of a flu in the North American continent, and we'll have martial law.
Well,
but it's not going to happen.
Let's hope you are right. It is not going to happen. That's one of the reasons why we keep pounding away at stories like that, because we don't want it to happen. Let's go to our first-time caller line. You're on Coast to Coast with us. Hi there.
Hi, my name's Laurel. I'm from Alaska.
Hello, Laura.
Hi. I wanted to respond to the gal about the fairies or the orbs.
Yeah.
But that fella that was just speaking, he's right on. The orbs, what they are is, and I've been seeing them for about 2.5 years, they have an actual order of color. They have to do with healing. The order of the colors are yellow, blue, red, purple. Blue is the yellow, blue, green, red, and purple. Blue is the point of change, and red is the point of reversal. It has to do with healing. Her son, when they come again, and they will come again, he can say to them, speak up and make yourself clear. I do not understand. And it has to do with their voices being a different vibration than ours. And they will make themselves clear for him so that he can understand what they're saying. And also that what I believe that we're in, and what I basically heard from these intelligent beings that the first time I saw, I was 3 years old, is that basically we're in kind of what is like the 8th day. In the 8th day, biblically, what it would be is that after the 7th day, after God rested, there is which he rested on the 7th day. The day after he rested is sometimes called the 8th day.
And what happens, or what happened during that day?
Well, from what I understand, and I this is from communications that I've had with these intelligent beings that I speak of over the last couple of years, and what it is when God rested, he contemplated his creation, the creation. And this creation that we're in is a corridor of transformation. And what we're all here for is for healing and...
well, what did he contemplate, though? Did he think maybe he made a mistake?
What he contemplated was its perfection.
But we're far from that.
Yes, exactly. And so what God did as he rested and contemplated when he saw that there were some problems, that we've come here for this healing.
How could he make something with imperfections, though?
I'm not saying that. We've been injured. We've been traumatized. And we've come to this place, a corridor of transformation that he's brought us to for healing. And we also come to remembrance. Jesus even said it, and in that time I'll bring remembrance with me, he said, when he was going to come back.
Well, you may be right about that. Time for one or two more calls here before a very special tribute to the late Aaron Russo. West of the Rockies, you're up with us on Coast to Coast. Hi there.
Hi, George. This is Jim in western Colorado, listening on K2 Radio in Casper.
Welcome to the show.
I always have been a railroad buff, and I have a true ghost story, a railroad ghost story, about the Colorado Midland Railway that ran through the middle of Colorado, only where a narrow gauge should have run, you know. It was a standard gauge railroad.
Squeeze it in a minute and a half, Jim.
Okay, they had to run between Denver and Colorado City. So it was written in the Colorado City Gazette that a train crew noticed a lady in front of them on the tracks in a white veil. They slammed on the air and ran over her, and then they looked and couldn't find her. So anyway, this went on and on and on, and all the guys were getting scared and carrying guns with them on the train. And finally, one day, this lady flew right up to the window of the train, and it said right in the article that it scared the heck out of that engineer. And she flew right up there and laughed in his face. And that was a true story that I read in the Colorado City Gazette in 1904.
I just had a story of something that happened in Illinois, very similar, where the crew of the train sees a person on the tracks, slams on the brakes. They know they've hit him. They go to look for him. They figured his body went flying somewhere. They call police. They call everybody, and they can't find anyone. But apparently it's been happening time and time again with other trains and other crews as well. These strange ghosts that are hanging around these railroad tracks. My, oh, my, oh, my. Well, thanks for the open lines. Up next, our tribute to Aaron Russo. Please just sit back and pay tribute to him as well. We'll be back in a moment.